And then we got Mr. Andre Johnson in the building here, Mr. 117. He races National Hot Rods. Andre, welcome.
This weekend coming, we 22 cars starting.
On a 400 meter.
Where is this taking place?
Richards Bay. And what happened today? Kick you guys' butt.
I can see where this is going.
Let's talk.
Yeah, so in the past we'll have them over, the English, and they'll kick our butts. Now the last 3 years, they haven't won any race.
We got the same equipment as them. In the past, they came here and we used to be, wow, check these old shocks, check their brakes, check this. And we had all basic stuff on. Now we bought everything from them and we showed them, now we can drive. We got the same as you. We're on the same level. And now we beat them. I'm not going to say his name, but he's my friend. After the race in Cape Town, his face looked like this at prize giving.
I know that's his friend, but his face always looks like that. Even on his wedding.
Welcome back to it. Of course, it is the Breakfast Show. In studio with us, we got none other than CEO of WOMZA, Mr. Ismail Peck himself, back in the building with a lot of excitement. He of course, did not come in the building alone. He came with a gentleman that seems rather eager to give us an insight as to what it is that he's involved in. I think his name is Andre, but we'll get some insight from him in a short while. Before we do that, let's dive into some conversation with Mr. Ismail as to what's been going on in the world of our WOMZA and our motor in South Africa specifically. I know he's really, really excited with regards to his partnership with McLaren and how that's unfolding. So we're quite keen to dive into that conversation as well. Mr. Ismail Peck, welcome to it. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you and good morning. And yes, I brought Andre Johnson in studio so that he can chat about the National Hot Rods that's going to happen in Richards Bay this weekend. McLaren.
Yes, sir. Tell us about
just
McLaren.
Always off the
hook. I've been checking your social media out. You are really, really involved with them. A lot of activity, a lot of drives, and I think there was a McLaren drive that you guys did as a team this past week, if I'm not mistaken. Give us some insight on that. How that?
You're talking about the Durban one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was off the hook. That was just something crazy, something else. And I think if you want to really experience something like that, you need to get to McLaren and buy a car.
That's the starting points. Just come for a couple of millions first. Yeah?
No. I'm going to do I'm busy with an advert for them that will end up here at Bogart as well.
Okay.
And we're going to introduce to people how easy it is to buy one, because people just think it's a far-fetched story, and it ain't so far-fetched, believe me.
Okay, some interesting insight in that regard. Like I said, like I've mentioned, I've been checking your social media, so I've really seen you up and about. There was a bit of a breakfast run. I think you had your family with you as well. They've made it almost a family affair, because commonly fast cars, if you look at fast cars already, it's a two-door car, it's a coupe. You automatically think there's no way families can get involved in this. But I think motoring internationally have gone into a point where they think actually driving a fast car is not necessarily about being in the car. It's about experiencing what the car brand can offer you, and I think that's what McLaren has done for you, and for you specifically, getting your family involved as well. In fact, appreciating what the fast car McLaren is and any other car.
Yeah, well, you see, we come to realize that the wives don't stand in the kitchen no more. They go with the husbands on the runs, and they're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, the wives are not scared anymore, and they want us to push, and they enjoy it. They absolutely love it. And on Monday was a public holiday. One message: how many guys want to go for a breakfast run to Melrose Arch? 30 cars.
Sure.
We met here in Midrand at the Shell Ultra City, and we went from there, went all around Joburg and ended up at Melrose Arch for a breakfast. And it's absolutely superb, because you meet new people all the time, and you meet nice people because they're driving nice cars, so they're nice people.
No, I can imagine that.
You know these people that drive hot rods, they're aggro.
They have a lot of fire to burn. But I think it's a good initiative that McLaren South Africa is doing, bringing all McLaren owners together to pretty much give them an insight and an experience over and above driving a fast car. It's more so about the gathering, it's more so about the networking, which I think is an opportunity that you seem to be really maximizing on.
You know, in the past, I don't think people saw much of McLaren around. People didn't see adverts of McLaren. People didn't see nothing. And now we're introducing it big time. And you know what? Hey, that's a car and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a car and a half. But then we can talk a little bit about every week.
100%,
every week 100%. A little bit.
And of course, like you mentioned, now you're cooking something with the McLaren South Africa with regards to visuals and advertisements. So also looking forward to that. Like you mentioned now, Bogart Man and Bogart Radio is going to be involved in that in that process. So we're really, really keen to see how that's going to unfold and what McLaren will do with that content as well.
100%. And then we got Mr. Andre Johnson in the building here, Mr. 117. He races national hot rods. Andre, welcome.
Morning, guys.
How's it, Andre? I've seen hot rods before. In fact, in my yesteryears as a youngster, there were these cars, like you had this plastic, you build your own track. I think they were called wheelies. I'm not sure if you remember wheelies.
Yeah, I
remember wheelies. They had like 4 exhaust pipes. So they're like really small miniature cars. But from that, it pretty much gave me an insight as to what hot rods are. But that's as far as it went with regards to the miniature experience. Now you are in the actual car itself. You get to experience the speed. You get to experience the atmosphere. Just guide us. Just give us an insight as to what hot rod is all about and how do you get involved in it.
Yeah, so it's definitely got 4 exhausts. It's got one, but it's very, very loud.
Yeah.
I started racing 2001. It was a family thing.
How old are you then?
17.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 17 years old.
Still fairly young, though.
Fairly young.
Yeah.
So we ran the 13B rotaries, like I say, very loud, very exciting, very, very fast. One small mistake and you're in trouble.
The cars that you ride, are these common cars? Can I go into a dealership and pick up a car, or are these cars that are specifically manufactured for hot rod racing?
No, specifically manufactured. Yeah, I've got a car built by Renegade Racing, so no dealership, built
from scratch. Jeez. And in terms of levels of competition, we're looking at it locally. Of course, Mr. Ismail Peck and myself have been in general conversation with regards to motorsport in South Africa and how it's developing. Of course, there's certain fractions in motorsport South Africa that you can see it's really developing quite high. But of course, if you look at hot rod is more specific. It's more generalized in terms of who gets to compete in it. But just tell me, how open is the circle in terms of evolving the sport, in terms of getting involved, evolving the sport, and also getting people involved in the sport?
Yeah, it's very specific. I also think at this stage in motorsport South Africa, hot rod racing are on top, and it's quite open.
I think it's like the pinnacle of our oval series. It's the
100%.
highest form of oval series, and
sorry to interject there. When you speak about oval series, are we referring to something similar as the NASCAR racing?
That's right.
Yeah?
On a smaller scale.
Okay.
So NASCAR is a 1 mile. We run on a 400. So the English run on a 400, the Americans run on a 1 mile, but their 400s are on dirt. And so Andre and him are all on maybe 380-meter tracks up to 420. And who won the championship last year, Andre?
Yeah, last year Kwesi Veyers won it. Yeah, definitely the pinnacle of oval. This weekend coming, we 22 cars starting.
On a 400 meter.
Where is this taking place?
Richards Bay.
Richards Bay, okay.
Yeah, so if that's a start for the final, you're looking at 15 million rand on the grid.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does it cost to build a proper hot rod today?
Yeah, now you're in for 800k.
800k for
the
one that can race properly.
Yeah, top 5 car, 800.
But then you need the driver to go with it.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing.
How many drivers are there actually? How many?
No, how many top drivers? How many guys that you go there Saturday knowing out of this 10 guys or 12 or 5 or 6, there could be any winner?
Yeah, I'm not downscaling any class with this comment, but you'll get the other classes. You have 1, 2, or 3 good drivers.
Sure.
That really stands out from the rest. If you look at us, you've got 17 drivers that can win the night out of the 22.
Sure. So it's an open pool.
So the top 15 is incredible.
Yeah.
If you compare your qualifying times, your top how many is in with how many seconds of each other?
Yeah, so it's 0.05 from second from 1 to 14.
0.0. That's not that far actually.
On a small track like that, it's crazy.
100%.
And top speed on a hot rod?
Yeah, it depends on some tracks are smaller, but I think Cape Town we've done 142 kilometers in the straight. And then you must remember that's from stop braking there till the next point.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a short straight, 80 meters.
And you say you're racing in Richards Bay. Of course, we know KZN as the Weather Service for South Africa have come out and have put out a yellow warning for some wet weather in KZN. In terms of preparation, does not that impact the preparation for the race, or is it literally the show must go on?
Show must go on.
Yeah.
Rain or hail, we're racing.
Jeez.
Show must go on. Yeah.
Day
Obviously,
devil.
some setup changes for the rain, wet weather.
Yeah.
But the show goes on, yeah. We have to race.
Sure.
Since when did you guys start? Because I remember years ago they cancelled race. When there was wet weather, they cancelled the race. Did you become more professional now? Or can you drive better now? What's the story?
No, I don't know actually. I just think we've made that call, and obviously if it's like hard thunderstorms, we won't race because it's very hard on the slick tires that we race. But yeah, I can't really answer the question. I just think 2 years ago we decided because of the crowds we pull and the money that goes into it, we're racing.
But I think
sorry, Mr. Peck. I was going to ask that because obviously, as a driver, you thinking, "Come rain or shine, we're going to get it. We're going to get this done." But then at the same time, you've got mothers, you've got kids, you've got families that are sitting on the stand that want to enjoy this, but now you can't sit there you can't sit there drenched in rain, trying to enjoy a 300 kilometer race or 300 meter race rather.
Yeah, you see a lot of drivers, if it rains, they want to load up cars, but that's really where the men gets divided from the boys.
For sure.
But don't you think the caliber of driving and your cars has stepped up in the last 5 years?
No, definitely, 100%. Like, if I can call a track like Miami, we did 13.5s lap times around the track, and that was very, very quick. And in the last year, we're doing 13.1. So in a year's time, we've gone half a second quicker.
Sure. And on a 400 meter, a half a second is big.
It's big, huh?
So if you look at a quarter mile and a very, very quick Porsche, okay, that does 11 seconds on the quarter mile, he does it in one straight line. They're doing 13 seconds with 2 corners in it.
Sure.
So if you can imagine that.
Now you mentioned the Porsche and you mentioned any other cars. Of course, in every industry, in every competition, there's always a level of comparison. Now, when people look at hot rod and they look at hot rod and they try to compare it to other fraternities within motor racing, so look at Formula One per se, or look at NASCAR per se. Where do you rank yourselves in terms of possibly the most competitive level in motorsport? So we will look at Formula One. Would it be hot rod? Would it be drag racing? In what level in terms of competition? If you have to tell your colleague, for instance, I'm in hot rod, and your colleague is in Formula One, would they rate you on a higher basis, or is it lowly considered?
No, in the oval community, hot rod will be F1.
Yeah,
100%. That's a top class. You can't go higher than that.
You can't go any higher than that. And then in terms of international competition, of course, you're competing locally. What are the aspirations? What are the dreams to take perhaps yourself and any other person that follows through your steps to take it on to more of an international competition?
Whoa, Roberto, whoa. They raced against the English in January.
Oh, yeah?
3 different races, 2 or 3.
3.
And what happened? Did they kick you guys' butt?
I can see where this is going.
Let's talk.
Yeah, so in the past we'll have them over, the English, and they'll kick our butts.
Yeah.
And we would always found ourselves learning from them and searching their approval. Now the last 3 years, they haven't won any race. So we had this 3 races, Cape Town, Vereeniging, and Pretoria, Miami. All 3 was different winners, 1, 2, and 3, and not one English.
Sure. So the levels have definitely upgraded.
Yeah.
They've changed that. Is it like you've spoken about the manufacturing of the cars? Is it more so the car that's improved or the driver's knowledge that improved?
And definitely knowledge.
Yeah.
Definitely knowledge. And I think now these days we drive with the same cars that they have.
We got the same equipment as them. In the past, they came here and we used to be, wow, check these old shocks, check their brakes, check this. And we had all basic stuff on. Now we bought everything from them and we showed them, now we can drive. We got the same as you. We're on the same level. And now we beat them.
Sure.
Now they're not happy.
Yeah, now we find them watching our stuff. Like, for instance, I won't mention names, one of the English drivers around Neville's car. So I check him with his right foot underneath the side sill. And I'm checking out, I said, what you doing? I'm measuring the right.
He's measuring the level of competition and the improvement. That's what he's doing.
So the promoter, I'm not going to say his name, but he's my friend. After the race in Cape Town, his face looked like this at prize giving.
Yeah.
Just
and the English don't like losing South Africans, not at all. It's possible.
Nah, I know that's his friend, but his face always looks like that. Even on his wedding day.
He's English.
Even on his wedding day, his face looked like that. Sorry, Dean.
Yeah, I can almost imagine his face. I can almost imagine it. Well, I mean, it seems like you've opened up my eyes to an industry in motorsport that I've never been quite aware about. When you see these things on TV, you always think as if it's just another joyride. It's just a couple of guys coming together and flexing the muscles on track. But it's gone as far as the level of competition where it's not only local competition, but it's also international competition. But now, if you look at, obviously you're a lot more established now, but there are youngsters that are sitting on the stands and thinking, wow, I want to be in that car. What is the process of getting that youngster into that opportunity, getting into the car, never mind onto an international stage?
Yeah, I think WOMSA structure at the moment is also at a very good space where it wasn't at the past. So you've got your ninjas that they enter, and then the following class will be 16 stock rod and then 16. So yeah, I think the structure at WOMSA definitely opens it up for them to be an hard rod.
You get a stock rod that you could buy almost at the scrapyard.
Yeah.
Okay? And put a roll cage in it and it stays stock. That's why it's called a stock rod. And it's for kids between the ages of like 9 and 14. And that's where they learn to drive. So we got an entry-level class, and then we got a class for the lighties that's winning races. And that's how they grow from there. And when they want to go up to a higher class, and they're not yet of age, because normally the age group is 16 or 14, depends where you want to race. Then I would go out to assess them. I'd put them against other cars, assess them if they're good enough, and if they're good enough, I'll move them up.
I was actually going to ask that about the specific type of programs, because it's all fair and fine to have aspirations to be a hot rod driver, but then the aspirations need to meet the dream. They need to be realistic. You need to say, how affordable is it for my parents? How affordable is it for me in the long run? And now that you've mentioned that there are certain programs, so you pretty much go out and you identify and you say, this child in this amount of period can become a professional hot rod driver, providing the opportunities for them.
100%. And people just don't understand how cheap it is to get the kids in there. And oval track racing is a family sport, because your whole family comes out there. They can braai, they can put up the gazebo, they camp there, they sit the whole day. For a whole day's entertainment, you pay $100 or $150 from the morning till the night, and it goes until 10 o'clock the night. So it's a mixture of day and night racing, and they're under floodlights. But most of the tracks now got roofs over the grandstands, so you don't really get wet if it rains. So it's really getting better and better all the time.
So it's become a lot more family orientated, more of a family affair.
100%. Only when the hot rods are racing, then everyone is serious.
Yeah.
You must check Andre. He doesn't even talk to
Andre
anyone.
Looks serious right now.
He talks about Dean. When I see him on race, I say, you can smile a little bit. Your face won't crack.
It won't crack.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be Dean for that weekend. That's No, I just think the amount of pressure that a person puts on yourself, the type of money and the hunger for win is so big. You don't want to disappoint your team, your family, your friends, and everyone who wants to do well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. It's not easy.
You touched on money, and of course, as we know, sports has really over the course of I think past 20 years have really focused on financially rewarding participants in sports. Now you know sport that of course comes up with a huge amount of, I wouldn't say huge amount of money, but has a lump sum amount of money that gets given out in terms of the organization of the event itself. But then the overall winner, what's the take home package for first to third place?
Come, let me explain that. So a lot of people ask me the question, how much do you earn if you race? You earn nothing.
For real?
You do it out of your pocket, but the rewards come when you start winning and people start noticing you. Companies approach you and they say, I'd like to sponsor you. Can I put my name on your car? What do you charge per year? I had a sponsorship in 2007 for 3 million rand for a year with total in a SAS car, because they just recognized me, that they felt I can drive, and they put me in. So it's up to you to be winning, to be the guy there that everyone's talking about, and then companies approach you, and that's where you earn your money out of it. I mean, and that's why you end up sitting here in Bogart Radio. This is why you get to drive a McLaren, all that kind of stuff. Because you have to push. Everything you do, you must do to the best of your ability.
100%.
And people are always looking for their passion out there. Don't look for your passion out there. Be passionate about what you're doing right now, and life will really be good.
True.
Absolutely. Andre, what's your thing for the weekend?
I just want to say that's exactly what happened to me. That's the only way I can still race is through sponsorships.
Yeah.
I've got a massive sponsor that's on board this year, eBet. I don't know if you guys heard about eBet. Yeah, they're on board. So that's the only way I can race is through sponsorships.
Yeah, because Andre is a normal working person.
Yeah.
He doesn't own a business. And I mean, 4 tires, what does that cost for the weekend?
No, that's 12,500 rand.
Sure.
So what would your weekend cost you going to Richards Bay?
No, this weekend we're standing on 50k already, and we haven't left Joburg.
Sure. You know,
That's excluding accommodation.
No,
Including. Okay.
you know, I want Bogart Radio. Maybe our next race. When is our next race here in Joburg? Or Pretoria or Vereniging? Which one's the next race?
The next one is Bosveld, and then it will be The Rock.
The Rock. Maybe when it's The Rock, they have got a Carnival City corner there which is closed and everything. Maybe I can talk to them and you guys come and set up there.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And The Rock would be speed weekend if I'm not right.
100%. Yeah.
They will have an English driver there. The world champion will come to challenge our
It's not going to have a
guys.
sour face, will he?
Ish.
You won't win, I can beat you there.
And I want Bogart Radio to come set up there that day, and we're going to try and, introduce it to more people, to get people out there to just recognize what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even know what is oval track.
100%. I think a lot of people are very much in the dark with regards to racing in South Africa specifically. Before we just close it off, gentlemen, I want to bring in another gender into this conversation. Of course, when we speak about hot rod, and when I look at you, gentlemen, you guys come across as very masculine. But now on the other side, you might have female compatriots that are thinking, actually, this looks quite exhilarating. How do I get involved in this? Is there open opportunity for female drivers to be involved in hot rod racing?
Whoa, let me tell you a story. So when the English came here in the beginning of the year, last year, and they all raced in the stock rod class, not the hot rod class, okay? There was, I think, 33 drivers, and they qualified. So when you qualified, put you on the grid.
Irregardless of gender.
Who was on irregardless? Pole was a female from Ireland. Second was a female from Cape Town. And then the men. So
it wasn't a matter of ladies first, was
there's
it?
no stories about that. When they really come out the kitchen, they kick our butts. They give us hiding, man. I'm telling you. And it's like they're just more smooth than us. They're very smooth. And I'm sure if they do get sponsors to get them up to the higher levels, I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with. I think there was 2 ladies racing in the hot rods as well. Lonica Martins and what's the girlie in Cape Town? De Souza. Daniela De Souza. Daniela De Souza and Lonica Martins, they both race hot rods.
Okay.
So it's not like...
and both of them very quick, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can put Feroza in a car one day. See, I was just checking if you're listening to us, Feroza. That's all I was checking.
Risky. That's a bit risky there. She's our prize commodity. We don't want to lose her. Gentlemen, just to wrap up the conversation, of course, the weekends are fastly approaching. We think we got a long weekend ahead of us. The 27th being Monday with the Freedom Day. What are the plans for the week with regards to WOMSA, with regards to your races as well, Andre?
Okay, go first, Andre.
Yeah, well, I'm leaving the Friday, so Saturday is the practice day all day, so you'll use the day to set up the car for Sunday. Sunday's race day. And then obviously try to do our best there and back on Monday.
Yeah.
Because it's being a long weekend, they chose the Sunday so that Saturday you got either travel or you can be practicing. Sunday's race day. Sunday night, these guys can party.
Monday, back to it.
And Monday, you're towing back your car. 6-hour drive, 7-hour drive back to Joburg. Get ready for Tuesday for work. So, that's how it's been planned out.
Okay, and as far as our WOMS is concerned, nothing taking place this weekend?
No, on the 8th of June, there's going to be... Well, they represent WOMSA, the National Hot Rods. There is another group called the Snoek and Patat race. Snoek and Patat. Have you heard about Snoek and Patat, people? Don't you know? In Langebaan, outside Langebaan, you get Paternoster. Okay, and they have the snook.
Look at me looking at you.
It's called the Snoek and Patat Festival.
Fish and
potato. There we go. Hey.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's a huge event that they have. The whole town is on a festival. Then they also have the oval track race called the Snoek and Patat. Last year they were still under MSA, or they were still under MSA last year, and I dived in and I helped them as well, and they pulled a record crowd.
I dived in. Keep going.
Absolute record crowd. So this year we're doing it again with them, and I'm sure we're going to pull record numbers again. With the hot rods, we're going to pull record numbers, and then our biggie with a quarter mile coming, people.
Hopefully you don't win that snooker patat race. It will be quite fishy if you do.
You sound like my son-in-law now. I want to throttle him always.
Gentlemen, it's been a great pleasure having you guys in the studio. Mr. Ismail Peck, always a pleasure having you with us during on a weekly Wednesday. Andre, all the best for this weekend's race. You sound like a man that definitely knows his way around the curve. So I trust you're going to come back on Monday with perhaps a trophy and maybe just another sponsor in your belt. But thank you so much for coming in today, Mr. Ismail. I know you don't like to leave, but I might have to let you go right now. But thank you so much for coming into the studio. Yeah.
Just quick. Sponsors out there, if you want your names out there, if you want to be on these guys' cars, if you want to be involved in motorsport and help our motorsport to grow, we really need you guys to come on board and help us get our motorsport higher and higher all the time. Thank you, guys.
100%. Andre, before I let you go, any social media pages you want to share to our listeners so that at least they're able to follow you?
No, just keep an eye on the Warms Up page and Ismail Peck's life. Everything's on there that you need.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Much
Perfect.
appreciated.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. Andre, all the best for this weekend. Mr. Ismail Peck, me and you are back again next week's Wednesday.
Well, let's see. If Andre can finish the top 3, we'll bring him in to talk
100%.
about it.
It'll be quite interesting to get some insight from that race as well.
Well, see you next week, Wednesday, then.
Perfect. Fantastic. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Bye-bye,
See you
everyone.
guys next week. Mr. Ismail, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
That was of course, our insight from Mr. Ismail Peck himself, CEO of WOMSA South Africa, as far as our motoring is concerned. Of course, Andre, who will be taking part at this weekend's race down in Richards Bay in KwaZulu-Natal. So a lot of excitement in that regard. Of course, should he come in the top 3, we've already had commitments that he'll come back and give us some insight as to how the race unfolded. That's pretty much it from this week's sports motoring sports. Of course, from Mr. Ismail Peck himself. He's back again in the building next week, Wednesday. This is none other than Bogart Radio. It is the morning show. We are just 15 minutes from the top of the hour. Of course, I will dive into music and lights in a short while before we wrap up the show and serve you breakfast for the rest of the day. Stay tuned.